Welcome back to the Sunny Stampin' Studio. In today's video, I want to show you how to make this quick and easy Christmas card. If you have a lot of cards to send out this holiday season, this is the perfect design because you can make lots in no time at all. Why don't we get started? First thing you're going to need is a scrap of Whisper White cardstock and a Versamark ink pad. What you want to do is pat the Versamark ink pad all over about half of your Whisper White cardstock scrap piece. Now Versamark ink, it's a watermark ink pad. It's sticky and it allows you to emboss, which is exactly what we're going to do right now. So in this container I have some iridescent ice embossing powder and a small spoon, and what I'm going to do is just sprinkle this all over my Whisper White cardstock, like so. So once you've done that, you just flip it over and give it a little flick so you can see your paper there. It's now going to get loud for a minute because I need to heat emboss this powder until it melts. Now I'm going to zoom in and hopefully you'll be able to see this a little bit as I'm embossing it. You have to pay very careful attention when you're embossing iridescent ice because you don't notice the change quite as much as when you emboss other colored embossing powders. So you really have to keep your eye on it. Once you'll know it's embossed if you kind of rub your finger over it and you don't see much of the embossing powder come off. Once you've done that, you're going to grab your snowflake punch. And this is a new punch that came out in Stampin' Up's idea book and catalog. You're going to flip it over so you can see it through the window, and then you're going to punch. You can now set your punch aside and you've got your snowflake. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out so you can better see what I'm doing. Next thing you're going to want to grab is a piece of Christmas Cocoa designer paper. This is a 4x4 inch piece and it's been matted onto a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch piece of soft suede cardstock. I'm also going to grab my card base. This is a 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 inch card. So I simply took a 12 by 12 inch piece of Whisper White cardstock, cut it at 5 1/4 inches by 10 1/2, and then scored it at the 5 1/4 inch mark. So what I want to do is just take some Dotto adhesive because I only want to temporarily center and stick it down to my card. And this is so that I can determine my placement. And you'll see what I'm referring to in a minute. So I've got my card aligned to my grid paper, and I'm just going to visually center and stick this down. I'm now going to grab a 1 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece of designer paper, once again from the Christmas Cocoa designer paper collection. And I'm going to put some snail adhesive in the center of that. And what I want to do, and you notice, don't put any at the edges. I only put it in the center because I don't want it to actually stick to the white card part. I only want it to stick to the soft suede, designer paper. So I'm going to use my guideline, my lines on my grid paper to help me visually position that. Now once you've done that, you can go ahead and carefully remove this from your card and just set your card front aside. Now grab a foam mat, a paper piercing tool, and your snowflake. And you want to position your snowflake onto your strip of designer paper and then pierce a hole through the center using your paper piercing tool. Once you've done that, you can grab yourself a large clear rhinestone brad, and I'm going to insert it in the center of my snowflake and then right through my designer paper like so. And then you just open up the prongs of the brad on the back. Now that that's done, I'm going to take my letters. And what I did was I used my Timeless Type alphabet die, and I die cut it out of Fun Foam, which I just purchased at my local craft store. You can also get Fun Foam at a lot of your local dollar stores as well. So I'm just going to position that where I want it on the card. And then once I've done that, I'm going to grab some of my Tombow multi-liquid glue. And I'm going to very carefully squeeze just a tiny, tiny bit of glue on the back. And I'm smearing the glue with the tip of my glue bottle. I'm then going to position and stick it onto my designer paper. Now you do want to try not to shift your letters too much once you've stuck them down, because otherwise you are going to get glue smears on your designer paper where you don't want them. Now when I'm sticking my foam, letters, I do not normally use tweezers because the fun foam is so soft. If you use tweezers, you can leave the imprint of the tweezers in your letters. So ideally, it's better to use your fingers. So right now, I'm just very carefully trying to place these letters so that they're as straight as possible. So that you can see I have my title affixed. Now that I've done that, I'm going to grab a container of Dazzling Diamonds glitter and a two-way glue pen. And what I want to do is to take my two-way glue pen and just run it, over my letters. So you can see the blue. That will fade as the glue dries, so don't worry too much about that. You don't want too thick of a layer, just enough that's going to hold your glitter on there. Like so. So once you've coated your letters with the two-way glue, you can now grab a little spoon or a little applicator and just sprinkle your glitter on top of your letters. And there you can now see how the letters have a beautiful shimmer to them. Once you've done that, it's now just a matter of sticking your cardstock with designer paper onto your card front. So I'm going to liberally place some snail adhesive on the back of my soft suede cardstock. Once again, position my card on my grid paper, and then I'm going to center and stick my soft suede cardstock to my card front, like so. And there you have it, your card is done. You've got a beautiful, simple Christmas card. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I look forward to stamping with you again.